When you hear about Burkina Faso, many people imagine a land struggling with challenges, poverty, and instability. But what if I told you that right now, under the leadership of Ibrahim Traoré and the determination of its people, Burkina Faso is quietly building something extraordinary? There is a wave of projects taking shape. Projects that are not just about roads or buildings, but about rewriting the country's story. These are the kinds of projects that make ordinary citizens stop, smile, and believe again. Let's start with something simple yet powerful: infrastructure. For decades, poor road networks left farmers isolated, markets disconnected, and communities divided. But new highways, bridges, and overpasses are now appearing where only dusty paths once existed. The feeling of driving on a smooth road after years of navigating potholes is more than just comfort, it's dignity. It tells people that they matter, that their journeys are worth investing in. Every new road is not just asphalt, it's a promise. And then there's the energy revolution. In rural villages where children once studied by candlelight, solar power stations are springing up. Panels are installed on schools, hospitals, and even small homes. Imagine the joy of a child flipping on a light switch for the first time, or a mother knowing the clinic in her town can store medicine safely because electricity no longer cuts out. These aren't just technical upgrades, they're emotional victories. Electricity brings hope, opportunity, and safety, and it's becoming a reality for more and more Burkinabè families. Water, too, is being given the respect it deserves. Projects focused on drilling wells and building modern water systems are transforming communities. Think of the hours saved for women and children who no longer have to walk miles under the burning sun just to fetch a bucket of water. That time saved is now used for school, farming, or simply resting. Clean water is life, and in Burkina Faso, more people are tasting that life with each new project completed. Agriculture has always been the beating heart of Burkina Faso, but for too long it was left vulnerable to drought, poor irrigation, and lack of resources. Now, irrigation systems, modern farming techniques, and support programs are being introduced to empower farmers. There's something deeply moving about watching a farmer, who once worried every season if his crops would survive, now standing confidently in his fields, knowing that systems are in place to support him. Food security doesn't just fill stomachs, it fills hearts with peace. Education is also undergoing a quiet transformation. Schools are being built and renovated, with more classrooms and better facilities for children. Imagine walking into a bright classroom with enough desks, books, and even technology where once there was a crumbling hut with barely a chalkboard. Every child sitting in those classrooms is a seed for the future of Burkina Faso, and these projects are planting them with care. The laughter of children in a new schoolyard says more than statistics ever could. Healthcare, too, is being lifted. Clinics and hospitals are being improved with better equipment and more access for rural communities. For families, this is everything. No longer having to travel for hours to reach a doctor can mean the difference between life and death. Picture a mother holding her baby, knowing that the health center near her home now has the tools to help if something goes wrong. That kind of reassurance is priceless. Urban projects are reshaping the way cities look and feel. Ouagadougou and other towns are seeing new housing projects, modern roads, and cleaner public spaces. These are not just cosmetic changes, they create pride. Citizens feel proud to walk in their cities, to invite visitors, to see their surroundings. Reflect progress instead of stagnation. It's about lifting spirits as much as lifting skylines. And then there's the digital wave. Internet access and connectivity projects are slowly linking Burkina Faso to the rest of the world. In a time when knowledge and opportunity live online, this is a revolution. Young people in rural areas can now dream of learning coding, joining global conversations, or even starting businesses from their laptops. Every connected village is another door open to the future. Security projects also matter. In a country facing threats from extremism, investing in better equipment, training, and community programs is restoring confidence. Citizens feel safer, knowing their leaders are not only protecting them, but also giving young people alternatives to violence through jobs, education, and opportunity. Hope is the best security strategy, and these projects are delivering it. The emotional impact of all this is difficult to capture in words, but if you sit with a family in Burkina Faso, you can feel it. You see the father who smiles because his harvest will reach the market on a new road. You see the mother who no longer fears losing a child to unsafe water. You see the young student who now dreams bigger because her classroom has electricity and books. And you see an entire nation beginning to lift its head higher because progress is visible, tangible, and shared. These projects are not miracles dropped from the sky. They are the result of determination, leadership, and people working together. There's a sense of ownership in Burkina Faso right now, a belief that this transformation is theirs, not something imposed from outside, and that makes it even more powerful. Progress that comes from within carries pride, and pride is contagious. For years, Africa has been defined in the global media by struggle, but Burkina Faso is reminding everyone that struggle is only half the story. The other half is resilience, creativity, and an unbreakable spirit that refuses to be defined by hardship. These projects are physical evidence of that spirit made real, standing strong against all odds. When you look at the roads, the schools, the water wells, the clinics, and the solar fields, you see more than infrastructure. You see a people daring to dream, a country daring to rise, and a continent daring to hope. And that is why these 10 game-changing projects feel so much bigger than bricks, steel, and wires. They are symbols of a future that is being built right now in the heart of Burkina Faso. For a long time, life in Burkina Faso was shaped by the difficulty of getting from one place to another. Villages felt isolated, farmers often struggled to transport their goods, and families had to travel long distances on dusty, uneven roads just to visit relatives or reach the nearest market. The lack of solid infrastructure was not just an inconvenience. It was a barrier that limited opportunities and left people feeling cut off. But things are changing, and the transformation is visible right now through the ambitious infrastructure projects that are connecting communities across the country. Imagine a farmer who has worked hard all year to grow crops, but when harvest time comes, the journey to the market is so long and rough that much of the produce spoils before it even arrives. That frustration is being replaced with relief and pride as new roads and bridges are laid down. A smoother highway doesn't just mean a faster trip. It means food can be delivered fresh, farmers can earn more money, and families can finally see their efforts pay off. It creates a ripple effect. Better roads mean stronger trade means healthier incomes, and healthier incomes mean more opportunities for everyone. The beauty of these projects is that they are not just technical works of concrete and asphalt. They carry with them a very human emotion, hope. Every time a new bridge is opened, children on their way to school cross it with excitement, knowing their journey is now safer and quicker. Every time a new road is completed, families smile because visiting loved ones no longer feels like an exhausting adventure. It's in these small, everyday moments that the true value of infrastructure comes alive. In the cities, new roads and construction projects are helping traffic move more smoothly and creating a sense of order and growth. In places where chaos once dominated the streets, there is now a sense of planning and care. People notice these details. A parent walking with a child along a newly paved road feels a kind of pride that says, "We are moving forward." Infrastructure is not just about movement, it is about dignity. But perhaps the most powerful impact of these projects is how they bring communities closer together. A road is not just a road, it's a bridge between people. Villages that once felt cut off now feel part of something larger. A trader from a rural community can now sell goods in a city market. A student can travel with more ease to attend a university far from home. A family can reunite without having to spend days on a grueling journey. These connections are strengthening the social fabric of the country. The sense of national pride these projects bring cannot be underestimated. When citizens see new bridges rising, modern roads stretching into the horizon, and towns becoming more accessible, they feel included in progress. It's no longer about reading promises in speeches or hearing about development from a distance. It's about experiencing it in real life. Every kilometer of new road and every bridge completed becomes a symbol of a government that is responding to its people and a people who are rising together. There is also the quiet but powerful effect on jobs. Building infrastructure requires labor, and these projects have created opportunities for thousands of workers. For young people, especially, this has been a chance not only to earn, but to learn new skills. Laying bricks, paving roads, and working with modern construction equipment gives them valuable experience they can carry forward. The pride of building something with your own hands, something your children and grandchildren will use, is one of the most powerful motivators of all. And then there are the subtle emotional shifts. When people see cranes, trucks, and construction sites, they see activity, energy, movement. It sends a signal that the country is not standing still, that even in the face of challenges, there is progress. This has a deep effect on morale. A person walking past a new road being built doesn't just see dust and machinery. They see tomorrow being created in front of their eyes. The pride in Burkina Faso's infrastructure projects also comes from the fact that they are not just serving the wealthy or the elite. These are projects that touch the daily lives of ordinary people. A farmer, a teacher, a mother, a child. They all feel the benefits. And because of that, the pride is shared widely. It's not the pride of a few, it's the pride of an entire nation. Of course, challenges remain. Building infrastructure is not easy, especially in a country with limited resources and ongoing struggles. But what makes these current efforts stand out is the determination behind them. There is a clear vision that infrastructure is not a luxury, it is a foundation, and laying that foundation is what gives people the courage to dream bigger. Every road, every bridge, every construction project in Burkina Faso today is more than just a development plan. It is a message. It tells the people, you are not forgotten, you are not left behind, you are part of something greater. That message resonates deeply, and it is why citizens feel proud when they see these projects taking shape across their country. When people talk about development, it often sounds like a list of statistics or technical terms, but in Burkina Faso, renewable energy, water, and agriculture projects are not just abstract ideas. They are changing daily life in ways that are deeply personal, emotional, and real. These initiatives are touching the lives of ordinary citizens, and the impact goes far beyond numbers. It's about hope, dignity, and the simple joys of everyday living. Take renewable energy, for example. In villages where nights used to mean complete darkness, the hum of a solar panel system and the glow of an electric bulb feel almost magical. For a child who once studied under the dim, flickering light of a candle or kerosene lamp, being able to sit at a desk with steady light is transformative. It means homework is no longer rushed before the sun goes down. It means dreams don't have to end with sunset. Parents, too, feel relief knowing that the air is cleaner and safer without the smoke from kerosene lamps filling their homes. The switch to renewable energy is not just a technical shift. It's a gift of health, safety, and opportunity. Electricity also changes the rhythm of life. Shops can stay open longer. Families can enjoy evenings together without struggling in darkness. And clinics can function more reliably, storing medicines and running equipment without fear of power outages. Imagine the sense of security a mother feels knowing her local health center now has consistent electricity and can save lives more effectively. Renewable energy brings more than light. It brings reassurance and possibility. Water is another quiet revolution happening in Burkina Faso. For generations, fetching water has been one of the most exhausting daily tasks, especially for women and children. Long walks under a burning sun, carrying heavy buckets, and sometimes even drinking unsafe water was a reality many had to endure. With new wells, boreholes, and modern water systems being built, this story is beginning to change. The relief on a woman's face when she fills her container from a clean, nearby water source instead of walking miles for it says everything. That time saved is now spent with family, at school, or in productive work. Clean water gives back hours of life every single day. And beyond saving time, clean water saves lives. Fewer children are falling sick from preventable waterborne diseases. Families no longer live in constant worry about whether the water they drink might harm them. There is a calmness that comes with knowing something as basic as water is safe. and within reach. It restores trust in the future. Agriculture, too, is undergoing a shift that feels deeply hopeful. Burkina Faso has always depended on farming, but farmers often faced heartbreaking challenges: unpredictable rains, droughts, and outdated techniques that left them vulnerable. Now, with irrigation systems, better seeds, and modern farming tools, the mood in many fields has changed. You can see it in the way farmers walk their land, more confident, more certain that their work will bear fruit. For them, these projects are not about numbers or policy. They're about whether their children will eat, whether they can afford school fees, whether they can plan for tomorrow without fear. The pride of seeing green fields thrive in places where crops once failed is something hard to describe. A farmer holding up freshly harvested produce is not just celebrating a good season, but celebrating resilience. Food security means children go to bed with full stomachs, families eat more, nutritious meals and markets bustle with local goods. It also creates a sense of independence. People feel less reliant on outside aid and more capable of standing strong on their own. That sense of self-reliance builds dignity and confidence across entire communities. What ties renewable energy, water, and agriculture together is the way they all touch the simplest and most essential parts of human life. Light in the evening, clean water to drink, food on the table. These are not luxuries, they are the foundation of dignity. When these needs are met, people begin to lift their heads higher, dream bigger, and imagine more for their children. The emotional transformation is just as important as the physical one. A child growing up with reliable light, clean water, and regular meals grows up with a different mindset. They see possibility where the previous generation might have only seen struggle. Parents who once worried constantly about survival now start thinking about progress, about education, about building a future beyond the basics. It's also about community pride. When neighbors gather around a new well, when families sit together under lights powered by solar panels, when farmers proudly display their harvest at the market, there is a collective feeling of achievement. People know these changes are not distant or theoretical. They are happening in their villages, in their homes, in their very lives. That visibility of progress builds trust, and trust builds hope. In Burkina Faso, renewable energy, water, and agriculture initiatives are not just projects, they are lifelines. They are restoring time, saving lives, and giving people back the ability to dream without fear. They are showing that change is not only possible, but already happening. And every new solar panel, every new well, every thriving farm is a reminder that hope can be built, piece by piece, into something real and lasting. When you think about the future of a country, it always comes down to its people, especially the young ones who will carry tomorrow on their shoulders. In Burkina Faso, the focus on education, healthcare, and digital access is creating a powerful shift that is shaping a generation ready not just to survive, but to thrive. These efforts are planting seeds of resilience and hope, and you can already feel the difference in the way people talk about the future. Education is perhaps the most moving part of this transformation. For so long, many children in Burkina Faso studied in overcrowded classrooms, sometimes without proper desks, books, or even walls. Imagine trying to concentrate while sitting on the floor of a dusty hut with little light. Now, new schools and renovated classrooms are giving children a different experience. Bright rooms, better resources, and teachers with more support are making learning feel exciting rather than exhausting. The look on a child's face when they receive their first real textbook or when they sit at a sturdy desk instead of the ground is worth more than any statistic. It's a look of possibility. It's the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Education is not just about academics either. It's about confidence. It's about a child standing up in class to read aloud without fear. It's about parents feeling proud when their sons and daughters put on a school uniform in the morning. Every school built, every teacher trained, and every book distributed is a statement that the children of Burkina Faso matter, that their dreams matter, and that their potential is being taken seriously. Healthcare is another pillar of this transformation. Access to reliable clinics and hospitals has long been a struggle for many families. For mothers especially, the fear of pregnancy complications or the heartbreak of losing a child to preventable illnesses was all too common. But now, new healthcare facilities, Better medical supplies and improved training for healthcare workers are changing that story. Picture a rural clinic with solar-powered electricity, a refrigerator that safely stores vaccines, and nurses who can attend to emergencies without worrying about power outages. The comfort that brings to families is priceless. For parents, knowing that their children can get vaccinations, that medicine is available when fever strikes, or that there is a trained doctor nearby is more than a convenience. It's peace of mind. It allows them to focus on their work, their families, and their dreams without being consumed by fear. Healthcare projects are not just about reducing mortality rates. They're about giving families the freedom to live with dignity and without constant worry. Digital access is perhaps the most surprising and exciting part of Burkina Faso's transformation. In a world where so much of opportunity is linked to technology, connecting rural communities to the internet is nothing short of revolutionary. Young people who once had very limited access to information now find themselves connected to the wider world. A teenager in a village can now learn coding, access online courses, or connect with peers from across the globe. That kind of exposure expands minds, builds skills, and ignites ambitions that were once unimaginable. Think about what it means for a student in Burkina Faso to not only read about the world in books, but to interact with it in real time through the internet.